case of a nuclear explosion.
This is a Fourth Rider news break.
According to Western officials, Russia is behind several sabotage campaigns across Europe. Western governments are accusing Russia and its allies of initiating various incursions and multiple incidents all over Europe since the invasion of Ukraine 3 years ago, according to official authorities. The alleged disruption campaign is believed to be sanctioned by Russian President Vladimir Putin with the intent to divide European nations and erode support for Ukraine. Several verifiable documents attribute Russian actors initiating conflicts and various other incidents in which European authorities, prosecutors, intelligence services, and various other Western officials blame Russia proxies for cyber attacks, spreading propaganda, plotting killings, or committing acts of vandalism, arson, sabotage, or espionage since the Ukraine 2022 invasion.
A 6.2 magnitude earthquake rocked Panama last Friday. A strong earthquake 87 miles off Panama's Pacific coast shook the central part of the country Friday, but went largely unnoticed in the capital. The earthquake was felt over a large region, including in several provinces of central Panama, but there were no immediate reports of injuries or damage, according to the National Civil Defense Service. Based on seismic and statistical models, USGS estimates that the risk of fatalities and damage from this earthquake is low. The largest town close to where the quake might have been felt is Burica, with 1,400 inhabitants in Panama and 70 miles northwest of the epicenter.
Peru declares a state of emergency and deploys the military as violence reaches the capital. The government of Peru has declared a 30-day state of emergency for the province of Metropolitan Lima and the province of Callao that started on March 18th. Armed forces were deployed to support the Peruvian National Police during this time. The Peruvian National Police exercises the right to restrict movement and assembly during the state of emergency. President Dina Boluarte's government issued a decree stating that the 30-day state of emergency would restrict some rights, including the freedom of assembly and movement. This order allows the police and the army to detain people without a judicial order. The U.S. Embassy in Peru issued a warning stating that security forces may request identification documents from all individuals, including foreigners. The embassy recommends that all U.S. citizens always carry identification with them, comply with law enforcement identification requests, exercise caution, and maintain situational awareness to reduce their chances of becoming a victim of crime or being arrested.
Journalists detained after covering protests against Turkish mayor's arrest. Turkish government detains 9 journalists as protests grow over the jailing of Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu, according to the Journalists Union of Turkey. The Disbasinist Media Workers Union said at least 8 reporters and photojournalists were detained in what it called an attack on press freedoms and the people's right to learn the truth. It called for their immediate release. The social media platform X is currently objecting to multiple court orders from Turkish authorities to block more than 700 accounts, including those of news organizations, journalists, and Turkish political figures. While the reason for the journalist detentions remains unclear, the arrests of the journalists coincide with the escalating tensions surrounding the jailing of Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu.
Assault and death threats from a colleague initiate trapped Antarctic scientists to plead for help. A group of research scientists trapped in the Antarctic at the Sun IA-4 research base have pleaded to be rescued after claiming a team member threatened to kill another colleague. 9 members of an Antarctic expedition are confined at a research base 2,000 miles from civilization. The alleged culprit is accused of violently beating, threatening, and sexually harassing at least 2 co-workers. South African Environment Ministry said it was responding to the concerns that allegations of sexual harassment were also being investigated, but that reports of sexual assault were incorrect, and the department immediately activated a response plan to mediate and restore relations at the base. Gabrielle Walker, a scientist and author, who has been on expeditions to Antarctica, said working in such close proximity to a small group of colleagues has risks. Incidents in Antarctica are rare, but not unprecedented.
Actor Gene Hackman's wife was killed by hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. Last month, Hackman and Arakawa, 65, were found dead in their Santa Fe home. Gene Hackman's wife, Betsy Arakawa, died after contracting hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome is a severe and potentially deadly disease that affects the lungs. The rare virus initially causes flu-like symptoms that can progress to more acute illness where people have trouble breathing. Just under 730 cases were identified in the U.S. between 1993 and 2017. Nearly all cases were west of the Mississippi River. Hantaviruses, which can cause hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, are spread through urine, feces, and saliva of infected rodents. The most common hantavirus that causes hantavirus pulmonary syndrome in the U.S. is spread by the deer mouse. These cases normally occur in rural areas, although rodents can enter homes and possibly leave urine or feces.
This is a Fourth Rider news break.